be a new video for me. I'm actually focusing on using some of my Kiwi Lane products. You've seen some of it in recent hauls, and I just wanted to share what I decided to do with it. So this was I believe the October kit that we just got. And what I'm doing is with the Kiwi Lane, you have these templates. And with the templates, you lay them out on your paper and figure out how you want it to kind of basically lay it out. Once I knew what I wanted to draw or what I wanted to use, I knew it was just a matter of laying it down, penciling it out, and then I'm going to cut it out using my scissors. Okay, now the thing with the Kiwi Lane stuff, once you cut it out with your scissors, it is going to be important that you ink up your edges. So you can use your distress inks, your oxide inks, distress oxide, either way. Now I just put down a little bit of washi tape because these two in the middle were kind of moving on me, and I didn't want to get them messed up. So I wanted it to stay pretty much in its position, and then that way I could, make sure everything stayed as it was supposed to. Now, when laying them down on your paper as well, you do have to be mindful how you want your pattern to go, because obviously I'm using these pumpkins. I didn't want upside down pumpkins when I went to go put it on the paper, even though you could technically flip it over because it is double-sided, but I really wanted to use the pumpkin paper. This was the first paper that I saw when the kit came in, and I really liked it, and I knew I wanted to use it. So we're just going to finish cutting out the last little bit here, so you can see all the pieces that we had cut out. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out how I want it to lay down the next piece. So I'm going to use this one. I know my camera goes a little wonky because it's basically like white. Just bear with me. We're going to just cut these out. And I'm cutting out basically 4 pieces because I'm using them on the 2 different layouts. And you'll see here in 1 second, I'm laying down the next one that I want to cut, and then the other piece. And once I figure out I definitely want to use them, then it's very easy to lay down and get my images traced out. And I like to use my long Tim Holtz shears only because on especially the straight lines, it's just easier. Now I will say on the curvy parts, it's probably easier to get the snips or the ones that are like in the middle, only because it was a little bit harder with the bigger scissors. But once I, go in, I just keep going. We'll figure it out, you know what I mean? So I do wind up using the big scissors the whole time of the video. But hindsight being 2020, that's why I want to let you know. Yeah, once you do the straight lines with the longer scissors, go to your fussy cut scissors for some of the more wavy patterns. All right. So now that we have everything pretty much laid out, I grabbed my black soot oxide inks, and I'm going to start my inking around the edges as soon as I am done with the mats. So here we go. We're just going to go through. I like the black soot obviously because of the darkness of the papers. You could use obviously vintage photo. Also, depending on the paper, I have been known to use like a color that goes with it. So if I'm using pink paper, sometimes I'll use one of the pinks like Worn Lipstick or Abandoned Coral or something like that. Just, whatever is going to match. It doesn't always have to be neutrals. Just a thought. So now I'm just laying everything out. So on this particular one, I knew I wanted the pumpkins underneath the white, and then my second page, I'm going to flip it and put the pumpkins over top of the white. And I wanted to do it that way only because they are supposed to be like a double layout type thing, but I like changing things up and making something about it different instead of like using the same exact pattern on both sides. And I like to use my ATG and the art glitter glue. That gives me a little bit of time to kind of move stuff around, which allows me to get stuff lined up. So now I'm just flipping this one. It's going to look like they're upside down only because I turned the page, but this is actually the bottom of the sheet. I just figured it would be easier to do it this way than to uh, have to try and scooch forward because I don't have that much uh, open space really on my countertop or desktop, I should say. And of course, had to just switch out the ATG tape real quick and then finish taping. And we're going to use some more of the uh, glue from the art glitter glue. I think I had a little bit of spillage, so I was trying to wipe it off to try and keep it a little clean. And then I'm just going to attach this piece on top. And I will say with the Kiwi lane, I do find that sometimes the layouts just go quicker. You know, once you lay it down with the templates and you have a general idea of what you're going to do, and if you already have your photos, it just seems to go really quickly. I'm just attaching these to my mats, the photos, and then in the kit itself, you also get um, some templates that you can use. And in this particular kit, there was a pumpkin, and so I knew I wanted to use it on the kit here. So once we get the photos, I'm going to move that aside so I can cut out uh, the pumpkin itself. And on this one, I'm using it from the back because I knew I wanted to use the lighter shade, which is on the other side of the paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a stem out of just some uh, brown cardstock. What is that called? Yeah, it's in my mind and I can't even think of the name of it right now. I hate when that happens. But yeah, that cardstock, and then just put it on top, and then it looks like you have, you know, a little pumpkin. And I went around the edge because once again, anything that you're hand cutting, you always want to either ink your edges or, you know, use your um, marker to go around the edge to kind of hide the what you did by cutting it by hand. Okay, so at this point, I was trying to think, was I going to stamp on top of the pumpkin itself? I could have, but the stamp that I wanted to use was just a little bit too big. Like it wasn't going to fully fit. So I just grabbed some white paper that was on my desk and uh, I tried to be careful. I do get a little bit of smudging only because I used Versamark ink, VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and if you don't let it dry and you're rubbing it, you will get a little bit of smudges. But I just used my sand eraser to get those up as best I could. So now we're going to finish putting this together. So I got some fun foam that I'm going to put behind one of the photos, and the other photo I'm just going to attach flat to the layout. And I liked putting them on the angle. And on one side of the fun foam, it's already adhesive. So I put the side not adhesive down on the ATG and the glue that I put on the back. And then just use the adhesive that was on the fun foam already. And then there's the pumpkin we just cut out and the sentiment. So I'm going to put some foam on that with some ATG so that way everything's the same height. And then I'm going to attach You're My Favorite Season. And then I had some of these enamel dots that I'm going to kind of put around all over just to kind of finish it out and uh, I believe I do wind up splattering it later, but I wanted to put some enamel dots as well. Sometimes if you're not a person who's really good at splatters, then I would suggest getting the enamel dots or the Nuvo drops, and you can kind of create it in a more strategic way. Now on this side, everything was the same with the attaching the paper, the photo. Um, Now I'm just getting ready to uh, cut out another pumpkin, and then I'm going to attach the autumn die cut that I got from an ephemera pack that I had on my desk. If you watch my sketch videos, you would have seen me use it. If not this Friday, I can't remember if I used them in my Friday sketch video or not. If I didn't, just keep an eye out because I'll be using it. So once we cut out the stem again and attach it to our pumpkin, once again, going to go around the edges. And we're going to do the same thing around the die cut piece that I'm going to attach to the center of the pumpkin. And then a little bit of foam. And once I get that attached, we're going to use some more of the enamel dots. And initially, I was leaving that side to the left kind of just alone. I was fine with it. And then a friend of mine saw the picture and was like, "You need something over there." I was like, "Okay." You know, sometimes you're like, "Do I? Don't I? Do I?" And sometimes you just need a second opinion. So at the end of the videos, and you go through all the photos, you will see there are two photos that have fall finds. Um, Over on the left, some thickers that I added once everything was splattered and complete. So it's hard to see these because, like I said, I don't have enough space to really show the two of them side by side, but I was able to get a picture so you could see it in the end. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. If you're interested in Kiwi Lane items, I will have a link down to my hostess, which is Beatriz. And if you're interested or you have any questions, you can contact her and she would be able to answer any questions that you may have. I find these to be fun. I mean, it's a different style of scrapbooking, but every once in a while it's good to change up your normal pattern just to kind of get creative again because sometimes you can get in a rut. So see, here's the fall finds. So, and it was better with something over there. She was right. So thank you guys again. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And at the end here, I will have videos to previous videos. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day.